Hello and welcome to another edition of The Lightest and Best, where we look at a variety of offerings from a variety of manufacturers regarding their lightest and best offerings. Today we're going to be looking at the Ferrum Forge Falcon. And this is a new territory for me because I've never reviewed a knife that hasn't been produced yet. And so far they've only made prototypes. The actual production will happen once we get enough Massdrop subscribers. So I wanted to first of all let you know that today, the 18th of April, is the first day of the opening of the Massdrop offering, and the knife is going to be offered for about $125. Once we get enough subscribers to it, it will be manufactured by We Knives in China and shipped on October 31st, 2017. Let's talk a little bit about the Falcon. It's just a design. I have some photos off of the Massdrop site I'm going to be sharing with you and comparing it with the intact Ferrum Forge, which I have. The Falcon is designed by the brothers Chris and Elliot at Ferrum Forge in Southern California. It will be manufactured by We Knives in China. We Knives is a Chinese knife manufacturer who's known for its superior quality. The Falcon, as I mentioned, will cost $125 with an estimated shipping date at the end of October in 2017. Before you have here a variety of stunt knives, and these 5 knives all have something in common, which is their blade length is the same size as that of the Falcon, which is 2.9 inches. On the top we have the Benchmade Mini Griptilian, followed by the Maxpedition Small Excelsior. In the middle is the Lion Steel TRE. Below that is the ProTech Bren 2. Below that is the Boker Plus A2. All of these knives I wanted to show you because they have the approximate same knife blade size as the Falcon, which is 2.9 inches. And this is a very usable blade size because in some states they have 3-inch limits on blade length, namely Delaware and Michigan. So this opens a knife up to carry in a larger variety of states. Let's talk a little bit about the specifications on the Falcon. The blade length is 2.9 inches. Compare that with the 3-inch blade of the intact, and I'll show you a picture of the intact here. The handle length is 3.9 inches, which is a little longer than the intact's handle. The total knife length is 6.8 inches, which again is a little longer than the 6.625-inch length of the intact. The weight of the knife, as I've mentioned, is 3.6 ounces, lighter than the 3.72 ounces of the intact. We'll talk about the blade now. It is made of S35 VN steel and has a satin finish. It has a finger choil. On the intact, there wasn't really a finger choil, only a sharpening ricasso. The blade on its spine has jimping and a cutout for a thumb rest. The method of deployment for the Falcon is a flipper. The flipper tab was my main criticism with the intact. It had no jimping and was canted backwards so that it was hard to flip without your finger slipping off the tab. Ferrum Forge seems to have corrected this with the Falcon. There is jimping on the flipper tab and the tab seems to be positioned a little more vertically. The handle of the Falcon is made of the A6AL4V titanium, and the back spacer has a lanyard hold, which is revealed by cutaways in the handle design. The pivot will be on bearings and has a ceramic detent ball. The lock bar is a steel insert with an over-travel stop. It lacks the Jake Hoback roller detent. Hey, you can't have everything whenever you reduce the price from over $500 to $125. And the pocket clip is an improvement. It has a 3D milled titanium clip, right or left tip-up carry. The ergonomics I can't comment on, but we'll see once we get the knife in our hands. Now we're going to do a comparison between the Ferrum Forge intact, which we have here, and the Ferrum Forge Falcon. First of all, I'm going to take a little time to brag on how beautiful the Ferrum Forge intact is. I think the attention to artistic aesthetic is one of the things that Elliot and Chris are wonderful at. Look at how beautiful this knife is. The dusky blue of the scale just matches perfectly with this gray stonewash they have on the blade. And they do these unnecessary but beautiful artistic details, like they have a little cutout here in the show side with 9 holes. It's purely for aesthetic value, and then the 5 grooves cut here, and just makes it look pretty. But look how the colors are subtle and they meld nicely together. I'm going to show you the lock side now and how pretty their maker's mark is. And the blade is completely sterile. They don't do any billboarding on the blade. I appreciate that. Really the only thing that lets you know it's a Ferrum Forge knife is their maker mark, which is very tasteful, subtle, and well done on the clip side. One of the things I want to brag about Ferrum Forge is I think they do a lock bar insert better than anybody in the industry. A lot of people will slap on a stainless steel lock bar insert and over travel stuff just as an afterthought. But look at how they integrated it into the blade design. It's perfectly integrated with the titanium. You can hardly tell except for the color change where the stainless steel part starts and the titanium ends. And they affix it with internal screws, as you can see, and even the screw tips that you can see on the end here, that is perfectly smooth. You cannot feel any difference there. They use the Jake Holback roller detent here, and I'm going to show you can see the detent ball there. And the back side of it is this screw with a hexagonal head, and whenever you tighten it, it pushes this ball in further so you'll have a stronger detent, and if you turn it counterclockwise, it pulls the roller detent ball out so that you have a lighter detent. And for people that have strong opinions on whether they want a strong detent with a strong flipping action or a light detent that's a light flipper to employ, you get your best of both worlds with the Ferrum Forge Intac here. It's just a beautiful knife. Well, anyway, I'm here to evaluate the Falcon, not the Intac. I'll do a review on this. I just haven't got around to it yet. The blade on the Falcon is 2.9 inches. The blade on the Intac is 3 inches. It's a little bit shorter than the Intac. The handle is a little bit longer on the Falcon. It's 0.4 inches longer. As you can see on the Intac, we have a very good blade to handle ratio. The tip is just about as far as you can get without pressing your thumb into it, but I press my thumb into it and I can't touch the blade, so very well done on the blade to handle ratio on this knife. The Falcon is a little bit lighter. It's 0.12 ounces lighter at 3.6 ounces. This is 3.72 ounces. The Falcon lacks the Holback roller detent ball, which is a downside, but whenever you offer a knife at $125, this knife retailed for over $500. So what you do is you get the Ferrum Forge design on a production level price, and so that's a good deal. But you can't include every option whenever you sell a knife for $125. The Falcon has a lanyard hold, which the Intac lacks. The Intac has a single standoff, and I like the simplicity of that design. I don't really think you should put a lanyard around it because the knife blade comes a little close to it and probably would affect your lanyard. However, the Falcon has a back spacer with an integrated lanyard hole which maintains a nice sweep along the back, but then the handle is cut out to expose the lanyard hole. It's a really nice design. The Falcon has the back spacer, and as the Intac has the standoff, which I mentioned. The clip on the Intac is a spring clip held by screws. The spring on the Falcon is a 3D milled clip and is reversible. On the Intac, you have a non-reversible clip. It's only right-hand carry, tip up only. The deployment method on the Intac is only by flipper tab, and on the Falcon you have the ability to use a flipper tab or a thumb hole, which is large and oblong in shape. The blade on the Intac is chamfered but is smooth and has no cutout for the thumb. The blade on the Falcon has jimping and has a cutout for your thumb to rest. And the flipper tab, which is basically my only gripe about the Intac. On the Intac, the flipper tab is canted backwards and has no jimping, and so really you can try to light switch the Intac all day long and you're never going to be able to do it. You have to button push it. You really have to concentrate and bear down on it, and that's the one weakness I think of the Intac. It looks like the flipper tab problem was fixed with the Falcon because they place jimping on it, and it looks to be a little bit more vertical in its orientation. So good job, Ferrum Forge. There's a brief overview and comparison between the Intac and the Falcon from Ferrum Forge. My impressions of the Ferrum Forge Falcon are positive. I am happy that it's very affordable. Ferrum Forge knives usually cost over $500. This one costs only $125. It's made by a high-quality OEM manufacturer, We Knives. It uses high-quality materials, titanium, and for the blade steel it uses S35VM. So if you've been interested in getting a Ferrum Forge knife and want the lightest knife they offer, 3.6 ounces, in an affordable package, $125, from a high-quality OEM manufacturer, We Knives, the Falcon may be the knife for you. It's offered at Massdrop and will be delivered at the end of October 2017. I'll put a link for you below for those who are interested. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.